Put a little bit of the rub, nigga, I gotta be safe.
Let's get to sports talk.
Upset by Stephen F., not Stephen A., Austin. At home, in overtime. It was Duke's first non-conference loss on their home court since 2000. Now, guys, can we just simply say it's early, no biggie? Or Max, does Coach K have something to prove?
Yeah, Coach K has something to prove. I mean, both things you just said are true, but the thing I take away, of course he has something to prove. Not that he's not, everyone knows he's a great coach. I'm not talking about that. This is not just another great...
He gonna always have something to prove because every young player that he bring in there, he gotta get them to play his way. What's on the young player's mind is the next level. 1 year and go to the NBA. He had to get them focused to play right now. This ain't the same team for last year. This team right here has to play good defense to turn it to offense.
Coach, this is the gold standard. Stephen A., who's the greatest coach in the history of college basketball?
Mike Krzyzewski.
Right, it's Wooden or Krzyzewski, right? I mean, like, Krzyzewski in the modern game has won in it, like, things were different then, right? But we're talking about, you know, the greatest coach ever with UCLA and everything. But in Duke, in modern basketball, it's really, really, really hard to do what he's done. You know, like, you think about the great coaches or the greatest coaches of this era, at least, Krzyzewski is right there. So we're not just talking about one of the contenders for the top spot. Of course he has something to prove. All the time. Stephen A., like Nick Saban, has something to prove. Not that he's not, but all of a sudden, there's another coach winning as much as him and against him, and Dabo Swinney. All of a sudden, he's getting the brakes beat off him in the national title game. He's getting upset at home by LSU. Like, all of a sudden, does Saban have something to prove? Well, yeah, not that he's not we know he's great, but is he still number one? Is Krzyzewski the best coach in college basketball still? Are we sure about that? I don't know about that. I know Jay Wright he at least won a game with he lost most of his players and won a game, and before that won 2 of the last 3 national titles. I don't know that Krzyzewski's still the best coach in college basketball.
He still is. You know how this go every year. He get them one and dones every year. It's not that easy to coach. When you get the players that is coming here for 1 year, you have to do it all over, bring them all together to play in your system so you be ready to go to the season. When you have young teams, you gonna have hiccups. Cause they still gotta learn how to play with each other because they all just now coming together now for 1 year. And they get a whole season to go. Like, he's a good coach. He would get them together. It just, Stephen F. Austin catch them slipping.
Basketball, Stephen A.?
Well, listen, you could say that. I would tell you this. Tell me that Mike Krzyzewski, Coach K, has something to prove because they haven't won an NCAA championship since 2015. Okay, I understand. Considering the multitude of All-Americans that you've had at your disposal. I understand that. Outside of that, I don't want to hear that, especially not based off of last night's game. It's college basketball. It's a game in November. It's early in the season, okay? It's not the NCAA tournament. It's not one and done. It's going to have little to no effect on their season whatsoever. And not only that, particularly when it comes to kids, I would remind you that a guy by the name of Cam Reddish came on this show and confessed on national television. One of the biggest reasons that he had a problem last year was because he was busy eating pizza all the time, eating pizza and burgers and all of this other stuff. They're not worried about it. Is entirely plausible that the same team that beat Kansas to start the season, the same team that had just beat Georgetown and others, she sees Stephen F. Austin on the schedule.
By the way, that wasn't must-watch TV. I didn't sit down and watch that game live or anything like that. And when I saw...
They probably just looking past them like, that's them, we could go beat them. And they come prepared. But at the same time, there is a new team. The chemistry have to get there. It's going to pick up during the year. It's a long season. Once everyone get on the same page, they still going to be a top team at the end of the year.
come across. I thought they were talking about you at first. I thought, what, Stephen A. Smith said something about Duke?
That's right.
We're going to have to talk about this on the show tomorrow.
Right, exactly.
Stephen F. Austin.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, come on. You're taking it for granted. You know, it's entirely plausible, particularly basketball. See, it's not football. Football, you only got about 12, 13 games during the college football season, particularly when you're a nationally ranked team. This could cost you, particularly when you got the playoff system to take into consideration where only 4 teams going to be picked. You got to take that into consideration. But with March Madness, the ACC competition, North Carolina up the road having the crew that it has, all of this other stuff. Stephen F. Austin.
Are you seeing?
Once the team noticed you looking past them, they took full advantage of it. It's bound to happen in college basketball. Upset. Kentucky got upset. Now Duke got upset. It's just a young team have to learn how to play with each other. This is a different team from last year. Last year's team was a good offensive team. This year, this team, for it to be a good defensive team, they help their offense out.
Are you seeing cracks? Are you seeing cracks in the Krzyzewski wall?
No.
I'm seeing. Is that a crack right there?
No,
Fisher?
no. If that's the case, they'd be a national champion right now.
Well, it certainly doesn't mean panic for Duke. Let's make sure we give Stephen F. Austin their proper credit for pulling off an amazing upset.
They did.
Absolutely.
Good job, Stephen. Stephen F. Austin.
It's the kids. It's about the kids.
Okay.
We want to give the kids congratulations to Stephen F.
This is a
Austin.
huge
You
deal.
deserve it. Just don't expect me to lose any sleep over Duke losing a game in November. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download